guys, welcome back again to Azico Graphics GH. My name is Isa and today I'm going to take you through the tutorial on how to design a church flyer like this. And if you are new here, kindly subscribe to the channel, and if you are old here, thank you for sticking to the channel. So I'm going to use Photoshop CC 2014, and here is the Photoshop, and here is the resource I'm going to use in designing the Photoshop. So first of all, let's get into the Photoshop and start. So I'm going to create a new layer, and the new layer I'm going to international paper, and I'm using the size of A4 sheet. So A4. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use it in a landscape form. So I'll go to image and and rotate it clockwise. So now we have our background. So I'll create a solid color over it. So now what we are going to do is now we are going to bring in our resources, but before we bring in our first background, this is the first background we are going to use. So we are going to open it up and drag this to somewhere here. So something like this, so that this white here will not be seen. Okay, so I think this is okay. So right click on it and rasterize it and set the blending option to soft lights. As you can see the soft lights well, so something like this. Okay, so yes, you can see the soft lights very well. So okay, let's increase the size. Okay, something like this is okay. So now this is what we are going to use to create. So the next thing we're going to do, we'll pick our rectangular marking tool, then set the color to black. So the next thing we're going to do, we are going to draw a big rectangular over here like this. Then what we are going to do is we are going to rotate something like this, like let's say 7 degrees, then and position it here, something the place like here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to right click on it, create a shadow for it like this, set the angle to 90 and here to normal, then we increase the opacity a little bit, then distance also same, spread, then this like this. So now we have, so this is what we are going to use. So we make a duplicate of this. Let me set this color to red. Okay, let's say blue. Okay, so though this is not the background we are going to use, but let's make a duplicate of this by Ctrl plus J. So I'll turn this to, let's say, black, for it to be different from the first one. So I'll make I'll drag it up here like this, something like this. Okay, a little bit like this. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open this, set the color to like this. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a duplicate of this. Control plus J and place it here. So I'll right click on it and create a cripple mask. And create a cripple mask for it. So now this is our background in which we are going to use to create our design. So here we go. So now we have our background. The next I'm going to do is I'm going to select this and go to the layer again, and this is our background that we are going to use. So I'll drag and drop it over it like this. Open up a little bit like this. Right click on it and rasterize it. Another right click and create a cripple mask. So as you can see, this is it. So this is the background that we are going to. So the next I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in, I got a couple of backgrounds here. You can decide to use anyone, but I'm using this one because of what Jesus was doing. So I'll open it wide like this and bring it down a little bit like this. And I want the part where Jesus is to appear. So I'll right click on it, flip it horizontally, something like this. Okay, so so I right click on it, rasterize it, right click on it again and create a cripple mask for it. So I'll select it, Control plus Shift plus U, then desaturate it and then set the so let's say okay, this is okay. So this is our background. So I'll right click on it again on the main and give it a stroke like something like this. Okay, something like this. Then the next thing, let me zoom it for you to see what we are doing. So now I'll select this to this. First of all, let me select this and group it. Okay, so I'll select this plus this, Control plus G and group it and call it BG, which simply means background. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the text, and before that I'm going to bring in the picture, and this picture is for P and Ike. They don't even know that I'm doing this, and I don't own the right to the image, just for education purposes. and I got this picture on one of my mentor Innocent K. Watson's tutorial he did. That's where I got this picture. So this, I will expand this a little bit like this. So now that our image is set, I'm going to drag the ruler from to here. Okay, then another one from here to here. Okay, so in between here is where our text is going to reside. So I right click on the image, rasterize it. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my text tool and type in towns giving Sunday. So alright, select it and change the, and this is the font I'm using, and the link of the font will be in the description for you to download and try your hands on them. So this is what I'm going to use. So okay, so I'll open it a little bit like this, and something like this. So I'll just try and open it wide again. Okay, okay, something like this. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on it, go to the blending option, and give it a gradient color, and let's see. Okay, so gradient color, and if you want to know how to download gradient color and install it in the Photoshop, I have a video on it. You can go and check up you can go and check for it. Okay, so I'm using this. Okay, I'm going to use this. So just set this to something like this. Okay, so let me bring it somewhere here. So this is our gradient that we are using. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to the drop shadow, and under the drop shadow I'll set it to, okay, the opacity will be 59 and angle 90. Then distance will be, let's say, 15. So okay, we give it 15. Then spread 18. Then here we give it, let's say, 6. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to this lane here, then I will set the mode to overlay. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it an angle of 33. Then the rest will be as the same as it is. Then I'm going to this opacity to, let's say, 9. Okay, so we are going to set the sling, the opacity of it to 9. Okay, so the next thing you are going to do is you are going to the embroidery, the emboss size. So here what we are going to do is we are going to set the inner, we are going to leave it here smooth also here, but the depth we are going to set it to 65. Then give it the size, we are going to set it to, let's say, 4. Okay, the soften, we'll leave it like this. So here is where the magics fall. So here I'm going to leave the angle to 90 degrees, and here we are going, the altitude we are going to give it, let's say, 53. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to use is here, you're going to use vivid light here, and same as here. So we are going to set the highlights to, let's say, the opacity of the highlight to, let's say, 67%. Then the opacity of this to, let's say, 37. And there's one thing I want to do here is, because we don't want it to be flat, so we will increase this size a little bit like this. Okay, so say 50 is okay. So then the next thing I'm going to do is we are going to do this, select this, and we are done with our first test. So now we are done with the first test. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pick my test tool again, type in service, Control+C to highlight it, and choose another front called photographer signature, and this is the, so I'm going to set this color to something like orange type color like this. Okay, so I'll transform it and open it up like this. Okay, so I want to give it a shadow, so I'll hold Alt plus, I'll press and Alt plus hold and copy the front to it like this. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my test tool and draw a rectangle over here like this, something like this. Okay, so let me zoom it so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so as you can see what I'm trying to achieve here. So as you can see, we are on the test. So okay, so I'll go to the properties and set the angles to 30 like this. Okay, then hit here and change the color to red like this. Okay, so the next I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my test tool and change the front to purpose, and this front is my favorites, and those who have been following me will know that I always like using puppets because they got all the family in one. So I'll just hit right click and type in my theme, which is I will give God all my praise. So I'll select it and reduce the size a little bit like this. So something like this, and still reduce the size like this. Okay, so I'll change the color to white. Okay, so I'll give it a little bit. Okay, something like this. Okay, so right click on it and go to the blending option and give it a little shadow like this. So like this. So okay, the next thing I'm going to do is let's bring it back to the normal side. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the text tool again, right click on it, and I'm going to type in the date, which is the 28 to 31st. Then the next March 2023. So I'll select it all and bring it up a little bit. Okay, something like this. So and turn this to, let's say I'll pick a board. Okay, so I'll select this and increase the size like this. Okay, so I increase the size like this. So I'll pick here, open up a little bit like this. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my rectangle. I'm going to pick my shape to draw a shape here like this. Okay, something like this. Right click on it and go to the blending option and set a gradient color. Right, so I'm going to choose the gradient. Okay, okay, so like this. So I'll select both and bring it here on this. I'll pick my text to click and give it the time 6 30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Okay, each okay, so select it or change the color to white and reduce the size, and I'll pick a semi bold and also to reduce the size like this. Okay, so with this expand the text a little bit. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit. Okay, so should be something like this. Okay, so the next so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a duplicate of this and drag it under it like this. Click my text to select or and type each night like this. Then I'll highlight it or insert this to medium. Okay, so the next I'm going to do is I'm going to select here, then open it a little bit like this. Select it all and open here a little bit like this. Okay, so we are done. We are almost done with the so also this like this. Okay, then the next I'm going to do is I'm pick my text tool and write the name of the church, which is at Calvary so with this then let me use this. Then what? So I'm going to bring in the church logo, which is this like this. Okay, so I'm going to reduce the size like this and bring it up here. So something like this. And the next thing I'm going to do, so let me zoom it for you to see what I'm about to do. Okay, so under this I will pick my text to use the draw a little bit of here. Okay, right click on it and rasterize and go to the filter. Okay guys, so right click on it. After rasterize it, you go to the filter, you go to blur, then you add a gadget blur to it. So I'll use 14 and it's okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my text tool again, click and paste. I'm going to type in the name of the church, which is the light. So I'll pick my text tool, then the name of the church. Okay, so I right click and then select my text tool, open up a little bit like this. Okay, so I'll position it to something like this and open it a little bit. Like this. So the next thing is I'm going to have my text tool again, click present, and change the text to and the colors to let's say something like this. The hours, so like this, and open up a little bit like this. Then I'll position this one to here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select from here to here and group it and call it church name. Then the next thing I'm going to do is we will come back to the down here, pick our text to okay, then we'll paste the name of the church again because we have already copied it. So I will just select here and change the font to 9. Then here we add so okay, so I will change the text to color of the text to this. Then the next I'm going to do is let me open it up so you to see. So yeah, I'm going to open up a little bit from here like this, something like this, and I'll position it to here. Okay, so and this I'll select this and this and this and give it one color, this and this another color, and this and this another color. The reason I'm doing this for you to identify the both text which go in hand. So I'll copy the name and come back to them here. Okay, so the next I'm going to pick my tool like this. Okay, I'll then change the color to something like this and reduce the opacity like this. Then the next I'm going to do is I'll pick my text to hit, then paste the name I pick. I'll highlight it and then the bold. I'll increase the size and I'll increase the size like this and turn this to something like this. Something like this. Then so I'll select this, press this and give it a color like this. So now this is how to design a simple church flyer, and this is how it's all done. Thank you for watching this tutorial. If this tutorial has been a help for you, kindly subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for any video that we upload. You will be the first person to have access to. Thank you very much. Here is Waziko Graphics GH. Thank you. Bye.